Okay guys, this is JB and Minot, and these are going to be my pickups for the month of August and September. But first of all, I'm going to start with, I got this in today. This is from Retro Gaming Treasure. And what that is kind of a loot box type company, only instead of just toys or souvenirs or what have you, they're retro games. You can go on, you can get a subscription, and you can list all the retro games that you collect for. And they keep a list of, and you can put a list on there of all the games you already own, so that there's supposedly no doubles. But you get 3 to 5 games every month, and we'll go ahead and get started. I already did one for August, but I lost the video for it. But I'll show you the ones that I bought, that I got. Okay, let's see here. Here we go. Okay. We got, that's what it said here. Here's a few tips. Post your treasure picks and earn extra entries in your boss chest giveaway. Man, okay, right here. Okay, we got this. And we got Turok 2 for the N64. I don't have that game. I'm pretty sure I've already got... Now, wait a minute. Okay, now I'm pissed because I'm pretty sure I didn't ask for any Genesis games. Now I got, really? I think I've already got this one too, Asteroids for the Game Boy Color. And I don't know if I have this one yet, but I'm pretty sure I've got Spy Hunter. I'll have to look it up on my phone. And I got this game, this ugly Sonic the Hedgehog for the Sega Genesis. And I'm pretty sure I didn't ask for any Sega Genesis games. I don't really collect for the Sega Genesis, so there's 4 games. If I had to judge by this, I wouldn't recommend this shit. I'm very disappointed this month. Very disappointed. Really? Not for resale? You really think I want this crap on my... I'm kind of disappointed this month. At this point in time, if it doesn't get better by next month, I'm pretty much just going to cancel the subscription. Because I'm pretty sure that I never told them I was collecting for the Sega Genesis. So far this month, I feel ripped off. Okay guys, I've had a couple hours to look it up, and I realized that the only real mistake that Retro Gaming Treasure made was that they sent me a Sega Genesis game, and I'm not collecting for the Sega Genesis, and it doesn't reflect on my preferences. So I went back and I adjusted a little bit of my preferences. Whether I can recommend Retro Gaming Treasure or not, that still remains to be seen. I'm going to give it a month or two, but that's for that. Now this was from last month. I did a Retro Gaming Treasure video from August, but I somehow lost it. But this is what I got. I got Super Battle Tank for the Game Gear. I know the game's not a very good game, but I don't have it, and I like to collect for all the Game Gear games. I've got about 90 of them so far, and this one's fully sealed. The box isn't in great shape, but you know, it could be worse. And I got Command & Conquer for the N64. I haven't really collected for the N64 in a while, but I got it on my preference. But I took it off the preference because I want to wait to collect for that. We'll see. And I thought I had this game, but I didn't. I know I got it for the Game Boy. It's one of my favorite Game Boy. In fact, it's the first Game Boy game I've ever played was Tetris. And I remember having hallucinations of Tetris shapes when I sit around and think in the dark. And this is the Nintendo version, and boy, I played the Game Boy version for hours and hours. I remember it was the fastest night of my life. I played with it at work, and that 8 hours just went by like that. So, okay, let's get on with the rest of the pickups. I decided to start picking up some more N64 games, cheaper ones anyway. Rogue Squadron, Star Wars Rogue Squadron. I have a Rogue Squadron 2 and Rogue Squadron 3, I think, for the GameCube, but that's it for that. Jet Force Gemini. And let's see, probably one of the last new 3DS games I got. I love to import 3DS games, but those are region protected for some reason. Yokai Watch 3. I love the Yokai Watch series. It's fun. This one doesn't come split in two like the other two do. This one's just the one, and they say this one's getting rarer and rarer. I happened to find this on base when I was at an appointment there one day, and I went and bought it. I thought it was 29 bucks. Turned out it was 39 bucks. These games hardly ever come down in price, especially sealed. This game I bought, I had to get it because I love the SteamWorld Dig 2 SteamWorld collection. It's got SteamWorld Heist, which I think is a puzzle platformer game, and it's got a SteamWorld Dig, a fistful of dirt. And SteamWorld Dig is like a Metroidvania, a mixture between Metroid and Dig Dug. You have to dig down with certain drills and upgrade your drills to get to certain areas. And I think SteamWorld Heist is, it's also got all the DLC. SteamWorld Heist is puzzle platformer. So, okay, now for a Game Boy game I thought I had, but I didn't. Batman. It's a platformer. I don't know if it's based off the movie or off just simple comic books themselves, but there's that. Batman, the video game. And here's some 4 Game Boy Advance games. Star X. It's a 3D shooter, rail shooter. You're in a spaceship. Kind of reminds you of Star Fox a little bit, the way the style is. It's a pretty fun game. I could have sworn I had this game before, but apparently I was wrong. Okay. SpongeBob SquarePants, Lights, Camera, Pants. It's a platformer. I can't believe the number of games that's been adapted from SpongeBob SquarePants. There's been a lot of them. In fact, there's going to be a reboot on the Game Boy Switch for a Battle for Bikini Bottom. Apparently that was popular enough from the PS2. They're going to remaster it on the Switch, which I'll probably get. I like SpongeBob SquarePants. I'm not a big fan, you know, because it's a kid's show, ultimately, so. Driver 2, kind of like a little bit of a Grand Theft Auto type clone. Very hard to control. I haven't quite gotten the hang of it yet. Demon Driver, a top-down racing game, which is very hard to handle. Okay, now for a couple of some Super Nintendo games. I got this for $5 from Chaos Games. They sell mostly Magic the Gathering cards, but they sell some used video games too. Bugs Bunny Rabbit Rampage. It's a platformer. Looks really good. These are not the original boxes, or you know, but I got these for cheap at 30 Rock Games. There's no manual in them, but these covers look really great. They're reprinted covers, and you can get them. There's websites for it, and they do a real good job. You can get these off of eBay or Amazon. These little packets, which I should do for all my games, so I can have them displayed better. Rise of the Phoenix is by the same people who did Romance of the Three Kingdoms and Genghis Khan, and it's basically a resource management type game. You're a king or a warlord, and you're trying to raise taxes and etc., stuff like that. Here I believe is an RPG. It's called it's from Square Enix. I don't know if it's from, no, it's from Cenex. But it's an RPG called Brain Lord. Okay, now for some NES games. I bought a whole bunch of NES games. I try to get them cheap when I can. I'm not going to pay $40 for an NES game. Not until I become a billionaire anyway. Castlevania 2, Simon's Quest, a classic. The Bard's Tale. Codename Viper. It's a Contra type shooter. In fact, I think it's by the same company that makes, it's from Capcom, so they expected great things from it, I guess. The sequel to Metal Gear, Snake's Revenge. And I can't believe they made a video game of this movie, because it's kind of a, yeah, it was a big hit back in '86, I think, but you would think that it was more of an art film, because it won the Best Picture. Platoon, it's a shooter. There's a racing game. Bump and Jump. Donkey Kong 3. The sequel to Centipede, of course. Millipede, which I don't see much difference between the two, to tell you the truth. Kid Cool and the Quest for the Seven Herbs. I never heard of this game, but I looked it up online after I bought it. And apparently the Angry Video Game Nerd has done a review on it, so I'm not very... I'm kind of tepid about this one, so hopefully I didn't get ripped off. It was only 10 bucks. The Rocketeer, based on the, I guess, the cult classic Disney movie that nobody saw, but everybody hypes on it like it's the greatest movie ever. And I forget what this game is about. I looked it up. Conquest of the Crystal Palace. Mission Impossible, based on the rebooted TV show back in the late 80s, early 90s. Still starring Peter Graves, but none of the other original classic cast members. Ghostbusters 2, based off the movie, of course. I wonder if they made a Ghostbusters 1 for the NES. I don't know. This one cost me 12 bucks. Okay, now we're going to talk about some Switch games. I've got my collection, my Switch collection's almost, I think it's over 200 now. So, this game is from the same people who made Bayonetta and Bayonetta 2, Astral Chain. What it is these monsters are sucking people down into this dimension, and you have to go and you're part of a police force that goes and chases them and finds them and rescues them. And the deal here is you can fight the monsters by yourself, but you also have one of their monsters attached to a chain, and you train him, and you can do all kinds of moves with that monster. You can fight him with yourself and the monster at the same time attached to a chain. And the controls are kind of pretty awkward. Personally, I think Bayonetta's a lot more fun. You got some detective work to do in here and stuff like that. Maybe when I get more moves, it'll feel more fluid. It just the movement of the monster just doesn't feel very fluid to me. It's got beautiful graphics and the critics love this game, but it just doesn't feel as fluid as Bayonetta does. Bayonetta feels fluid, it doesn't feel awkward. Spyro Reignited Trilogy, it's got part of all three games on here, but to get all three games totally completely, you have to download the rest of it. So I didn't know that, I didn't quite understand. I was looking for it. I was sworn by the shopkeeper that all three games were going to be on there, but it's not. You have to download a whole lot of it. It's by that little tiny piece. I don't know why they can't put all three games on there. Activision and Capcom are infamous for that crap. So don't get it at full price. Wait till it goes down in price. This is a auto-running game where you're basically trying to get from one side of the screen to the other while you're avoiding enemies, and you got someone chasing you, and if it catches up with you, or the building catches up with you, you die. And there's that. Collection of Mana. It's actually a collection of all three games. One of them is called Final Fantasy Adventure, released here for the Game Boy. The other one is, there's another one called Secret of Mana, which I believe was released on the SNES. And there's a third one, Trials of Mana, which was never released in the US at all. But there's that. I'm looking forward to playing it. This is a great game. Trine Series 1, 2, Trine Series 1 to 3. It's basically kind of a puzzle platformer game. It's mostly puzzle. What you do is you operate three characters, one at a time. You can switch them off. And you got one who's a warrior. You use him to fight bad guys and glide across certain areas and knock down certain obstacles. You got a thief who's good with an arrow, who can shoot stuff out of the way and shoot enemies from on high. And he's got a grappling hook, so you can use him to move people around, and he can swing across certain obstacles, certain pits. And you have a wizard who can create a box to use as weight to lift you up, or to have a place where you can step up, and he can move things as well. So there's 3 of them on there. They got 3 of them. The gameplay is a little different on each of them, the way the buttons are configured. The third one is you can pretty much go back and forth to where you want to go as long as you collect enough gems. But they're all 3 beautiful games. In fact, they're coming out with a sequel, Trine 4, pretty soon, which I got pre-ordered. And they're pretty fun. From what I understand, they're pretty short, but they're definitely enjoyable. If you're a puzzle fan, you can't go wrong with it. And it's kind of like, reminds you of Lost Vikings, where you trade off the Viking, whichever Viking can do whatever task needs to be done. Okay, you got 2 games on here too. This is the first physical release as far as I know. Guacamelee 1-2 Punch Collection. It's a combination between a fighter, beat 'em up, and a Metroid game. I'm not sure if it's linear or if it's a Metroid game, or maybe you're just not using punch combinations correctly. But there's that. It's a lot of fun. I still haven't gotten. I got partway through both of them. So, Darksiders 2 Definitive Edition, which for some reason they're saying is very hard to find in the stores. I don't know why. I got mine at Best Buy because GameStop was a little bit late, so got that. Star Wars Pinball by Zen Studios. It's got 19 boards on there, and lots of great animations. Not just pinball animations, but stuff. It's got 19 of them that covers all the sequels and the prequels and the original trilogy. And it's $29. 19. It's got a career mode, got a single mode. It's well worth the money if you're a big Star Wars fan, and if you're a pinball fan, you can't go wrong with it. I know I say that a lot. So, Dragons: Dawn of New Riders. This is a spin-off of the How to Train Your Dragon series. There's that. Tetris 99, which comes with online membership for 12 months for free. But basically, you're either playing against 98 computer opponents, or you're playing against online opponents. I don't know how you attack other players. I know you do the regular Tetris, but I don't know if there are any attack moves. I still don't quite understand the menus. But it's also got regular Tetris on there too, but I've beaten the computer mostly so far. You earn experience points too, by the way. Mario Tennis Aces. I got this for $9 via trade-in, plus there was a sale of 20% off every game in the shop. Enter the Gungeon. This is basically a rogue maze game where you use guns instead of swords. And it's a pretty fun game so far. Of course, like all roguelites, it's a little bit tough. So. And last but not least, a game called Minute. It's hard to explain this game. I got this from Limited Run Games. I had pre-ordered it. It came in. What you have to do is you start out with a minute left in the game. And you start out at your base. And what you have to do is you have to get as much accomplished in that minute as possible. Now, once that minute is accomplished, you have to kind of start the game technically kind of all over again. But you start out with all the accomplishments that you already have. For example, if during this accomplishment there's a certain sword you want to find, you find that sword within the minute. When you restart the game, you have that sword. So you can go on and the other tasks minute by minute by minute by minute. And you start at one base and you go and you find other bases and you find other areas, you explore other areas. Let's say you explore through an area and you die in the middle of that area, getting lost. Well, you can start the minute all over again, but the next time you go through that area, you know where not to go and where to go and where not to go. It's pretty interesting. It's kind of hard to explain, but it's pretty cool. The graphics aren't really much to speak of. It's even got an instruction manual there, which Limited Run tends to have. It's got a list of a bunch of stickers too. And that's about it for that. Oh, it looks like it's no, I don't think it's a reversible cover, but it does have the cover in there. You know, it's pretty neat. I can't remember if the game's black and white or if it's yeah, it's mostly black and white, but I think there's some color in it. And it's very 8-bit pixel looking. It's kind of like a Zelda clone in that area. Okay, guys, those are my pickups and a retro game treasure thing for August and September. I hope you all enjoy it. If you like it, go ahead and hit the like button. If you don't, well, then you don't. But go ahead and subscribe, pass it around, let me know what you think. In the meantime, you guys have a great October, have a happy Halloween, and God bless. Bye-bye.